There we go. All right, we got meatballs.
Once again, like I said, a half a pound of ground beef, excuse me, I didn't mean to say half a pound. Half ground beef, one quarter of veal and pork, ground veal. And the thing is, if you're going to do a pound, then it's a half a pound. If you're going to do 2 pounds of meatballs of ground beef, then you're going to do a pound and a pound. So you understand that ratio. Basically, for every pound of meat, I use 4 eggs. I use some dried up bread, and I crumble that in there. Grated cheese, breadcrumbs, fresh basils, and black pepper. One of the little secrets is for moisture, you can add a little milk or heavy cream to the bread, and you throw it in there when you cube it all up. I also use a little fresh garlic. So I'm going to talk about mise en place tomorrow when we do the bolognese. Basically, I grind up onions, celery, and carrots, and ground garlic. And I actually add the garlic right to the meatball mixture. Plus, I put a little garlic salt in there as well, just for some more flavor. But that's the ingredients of it. Basically, I'm rolling them out into 1.5 ounce meatballs, a little bit smaller than what I normally do. But my sister's kids are little tiny ones, so they don't need to have a 4-ounce meatball. Well, they'd probably eat, especially that Aiden. But that's beside the point. So I'm making them a little bit smaller. So the cook time on this is probably only going to be about a half an hour. You can fry them in oil, and it would bring me back to some memories of when my mother actually did cook back in the day. She'd use that Crisco, and she'd cook the meatballs in that pan, and we'd eat them coming out of the oil, and then she'd save that lard until the next time. What I'm going to do, believe it or not, is I'm going to bake them, and reason being is, of course, I'm incorporating less fat to the meatball. I don't know if anyone knows my sister. She's pretty health conscious, so there's no sense of me putting more fat into something. At least this way I can guarantee she'll eat them. So what I'm going to do with them is bake them in the oven, 350, 375. I put a little teeny water on the bottom of the pan to ensure that the meatballs don't stick. Very, very little. They will release some moisture from them, from the cheese and so on and so forth. But I use the 90-10 ground beef, so there's not going to be an awful lot of fat in there. Once again, my sister, normally does not traditionally eat stuff like this. So
I eat your meatballs whenever I have them.
I wanted to make it as lean as possible so that this way there's a little bit less fat. Yes, there's a little bit difference in not only the mouthfeel but the taste, but they'll still taste almost 95% the same.
Delish. All
That's
right.
everything.
Thank you. And what do we got going on here
That's the sauce.
for bolognese?
Well, it's marinade sauce.
Oh.
So what we're going to do, it's basically onions, garlic, and tomatoes. And I have some sausage in there that I put in there. Reason being is we had a sausage roll last week. What I'm going to do is a sausage pizza, and I'm flavoring it with some sauce.
Gotcha.
This is basically the base of the bolognese. The next step is to make the bolognese mixture, which once again I mentioned is the meatball vegetables, which is celery, carrot, onion, ground up, the ground beef, the ground veal, the pork, and then I cook that down, and I put about 2 cups of red wine, let that cook down, and I put tomato paste and a little water to let it reduce again. It takes about 4 hours. Once it's thick, like that thickness of a chili, you cool it down and you use basically half and half. It's like a third of meat sauce, a third of marinade sauce, touch of cream, touch of veal demi-glaze, and that's the sauce that comes together as the bolognese. You toss that with pasta.
Sounds delish. All right, we're signing off. It's your first training. Into the oven they go.